Welcome back
Welcome back.
to another episode of Beyond Legacy, the conversation beyond the legacy.
Yes.
We are so excited
Yes.
to do this episode. Now, this is an important episode, Erica.
Yes.
But first, let me do this. Let me introduce myself because they don't know who I am
They don't know
by
who you
now.
are.
If you don't, and if you're new watching, go back and watch some of the other episodes. But my name is John Treese Wells.
And I'm Erica Fernandez.
Yes, and we are Beyond Legacy, and our
Yes.
whole purpose really is to create a safe space around conversation, around your legacy, around impact that never dies.
Yes, that's right.
This is a special month.
This is a special month. It is March.
It's March.
Lots of birthdays this month, I'm sure. So tag your birthday if you're this your month.
It's this your month, your
It is
birthday
special
month.
Yes.
Yes, but it's also Women's History Month.
It is Women's History Month.
And we women.
We women.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is a huge month, and it's a pivotal month because we can go back some time in history where women didn't have a voice.
Yes.
And
True.
we are given and created a voice for ourselves in our community.
Business, right?
Mhm.
We're doing business and we weren't the voice. And so
Yeah.
now there's a huge space for that.
There is a huge space for that.
Yes.
So I would like to kind of just jump off this
Mhm.
conversation around women that have impacted our lives,
Okay.
that have made an impression on us. Now, this does not take away from the historical women,
Correct.
correct?
Right.
That have done some amazing things historically,
Sure.
that have broken barriers and broken ceilings, and just have done some, phenomenal things that have given us a path,
Yes.
right, to
Allow
follow.
us to actually have this moment.
Absolutely.
They paved the way for us and they're historical to us.
Yes, absolutely. But we want to talk about women who are connected to us.
Yes.
We want to give the props to the women that, that are in our everyday lives. And if you have women in your everyday life, please put that in the chat. Give us a story. How did they impact you? What did they do? Give them their flowers now,
Yes.
whether they're alive or they're no longer with us, but give them their flowers. We would love to read some of those stories.
Yes.
So I'll let
yes.
you start.
Well, okay, I'll start.
Uh-huh.
The first person that comes to my mind when I think about women history is my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother, Mildred Franklin. Miles was her maiden name. But why? Because my grandmother represented family to me. I grew up in Louisiana, and when I went over there, she would cook and she would just welcome us, and it just felt safe and homely there. I could go there and get anything I want and eat. And then as I got older, when I moved away, when I would go home, the first thing when I walked in the house, I could just smell her food cooking, and I could just see her even to this day walking down the stairs to greet me.
Yes.
And so my grandmother was the first person, and she gives me that vision of family with her kids and watching her house be the hub for all the family gatherings.
Yeah.
So I would say the first person I would give props to is my grandmother.
That's amazing.
What about you?
So, okay, you started there, and as you were talking about family, the first person that I would probably have to shout out is my mom. She gave birth to me, and she raised me, homeschooled us, homeschooled my brother and I, and just was a very present person in our lives. And when you talk about family, that is her thing. Family, traditions, making sure we uphold the traditions. Now, don't get it twisted. We don't always agree. We don't always get along, but she is the woman that is just very present in my life. And when I'm going through things or when I'm challenged, the first person I call it is my mom. And I'd be like, I don't know what to do, and she'll step in, and even those principles, the principles and the foundations that now I'm raising my daughter with, they come from her. And it's not that I agreed with them when I was young as I was being raised, but I can find myself going, okay, that makes sense of why she did that. Okay, she did that. That makes sense. And now I'm raising my daughter to kind of do the same thing. So the first person I think I would have shout out is my mom.
Yeah. So the next person that I think I would bring up is my mother. And I think for you, even looking at the age difference between us.
Yes.
Right. So you're seeing your mom
Mm-hmm.
at my age,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I got to see my mom at this age, and I didn't get along with her either.
What is up with that?
And so it's like when you're younger, it's kind of like what they say, you think you know everything.
Yeah.
But I think as I got older, I appreciate my mother so much more. She is now marching on her 81st birthday, and just a huge crack up.
Yes,
these
she
days.
is. Yes,
she has
is.
so much to say, so much opinion, stuck in her ways.
Uh-huh.
But through our younger years, I think she was the pillar of strength.
Mm-hmm.
She raised 5 kids by herself. She moved 5 kids from Louisiana, I mean the southern part of Louisiana, and all the way to the city of San Diego. So it took strength to do that, and then raise us to be upstanding citizens.
Yes.
And people who are, you cannot say, well, Erin May's children are not doing well. So therefore, Erin May Williams,
Mm-hmm.
Fernandez was her previous maiden name, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why we give props to next. My mother
Yes.
is a pillar of strength, and then just a wealth of knowledge and history, and is funny as heck.
Oh, she is a crack up. You talk about a hoot.
Yeah,
she a
she
hoot.
is.
And I think when you get that age, you don't care what you
You don't
say,
care
and
what
you just
you
start
say.
saying stuff. I'm like, did
Yep,
she
there
just
you
say?
go.
Yeah, she did.
There you
Okay.
go. There you go. There you go.
That's good. Well, the next person, I think I would like to give flowers to is a woman who, in my early teens, so my parents were, my dad was a pastor, my mom supported him, and they, built church here in the community. And as you know, as PKs, sometimes you get forgotten about. You kind of get pushed to the side as they're, attending to a congregation, and people always need them. But this woman kind of just stepped in and just said, hey, come with us, come hang out with us, come be with our family, come watch our kids. They really, really just accepted me as their daughter and just took me everywhere. And that's Judy Bruford. She just, with no hesitation, would just allow me to come and be a part of their family. And I watched their kids grow up, and they're doing amazing. But one of the things that I just remembered is she allowed me to be me. There was no expectation of me doing anything, but just allowing me to be me. And I remember when I first found out I was pregnant with my daughter, I ran to her house. No questions asked. I was like, I'm going. And she opened her doors and she said, come on in. And so she just taught me so much in all of that. And she would ask me the hard questions, but she, again, just allowed me to be me. And that was a big part of what I needed at that time.
We need somebody like that in our lives. So the next person I'm going to give their flowers to and props to is a woman I met. I don't even know if it was happenstance, but I just watched. And, being a Christian and being in ministry is Miss Helen Harris.
Mm-hmm.
So Miss Helen Harris, I don't get to talk a lot, but she has, she is really a woman of God.
Yes.
And she shows so many teachable moments that lean into you leaning into the Lord's direction.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got to watch her. I became and started doing ministry with her, and we were at one conference one year, and the place where we're having a conference changed around everything we were getting ready to do, and everything at the last minute. We had to rearrange speakers and everything. And I just watch her walk through that and not look at them and say, what she said was, well, Lord, what are you teaching me in this moment? And so I look to those incidents when things are going, okay, Lord, what are you teaching? It made me pause because we were ready to go toe to toe with people. We're ready to do just
the personalities come out, right?
But she showed us, she's like, no. And she got the team together and said, listen, let's see what God is showing us in this moment. And so I would give Miss Helen Harris. And even today, as I meet with her and sit with her days going forward, she teaches me those things.
It's so important to have older women in our lives that just give us those wisdom. I consider you someone in that person in my life as well, that you just pour wisdom into the younger generation because of just life that you lived, right? And at the age that I'm at now, I can receive and accept and grab onto those things like, okay, she went through that. This is what she said. And I can kind of open up and go, okay, well, this is what I think I need to do at that moment. But it's so important to have those women in your life that just pour out wisdom. Jackie Hill Perry, she's a person that I follow on social media, but she had just posted a clip. I don't know if you saw that clip. Really challenging the older women to really be present with the younger generation. That's what the Word of God says, for the old to teach the young. And if you're unwilling to humble yourselves, let people see the real you and the authentic of, nah, girl, I did that. Let me tell you what happened when I did that. Not that I never did it and you're just out on your own. So I just think that's very important. The next person I think of that I would like to give their flowers. She is no longer here with us, but I'm going to say that she was the most consistent person in my life during a time where I struggled. I struggled and I struggled. I was just in a space that just was hard. It was just very, very hard. And that's Miss Sandy Carlisle. Miss Sandy was my person.
Was an awesome woman of God.
Man, she was my person. She was another one that just accepted me. She accepted me into her family. I remember when she was a single mom with her oldest son. And I remember it was a specific moment in youth group. If you don't know what youth group is, that is when you go to church and all the youth go into one area. But you become like family. So I remember a specific moment in youth group. And I looked at her from a distance. She was young. She was probably in her mid to late 20s, early 30s. And she had her oldest son, and he was sitting on the steps, and he was just kicking his feet, the cutest little boy. And I remember looking at her and going, I want to be like her when I get older. Just how she carried herself, just how she maneuvered through life. Now, I'm sure at that time, I knew nothing of what she was really going through, but I just knew that she was a person I aspired to be like, and I watched her get married and have more kids after that, and she was just, I mean, again, another person that took me into her family. She, would be honest with me. She allowed me to be me. She would give me the truth. She would give me the Word of God. She would and she was my daughter's godmom. That's how much I just respected them as a family, and I absolutely love her to death.
Right. Yes, I knew Sandy, not to that level, but was definitely an impact that never died.
Yeah.
The person I would give props to next is Miss Roxanne Petaway.
Yes.
Miss Roxanne is also a woman of God, but Miss Roxanne, under even the guidance of your mother directing me to her, walked with me through so many difficult seasons. My one difficult season, she just is there to just lend me the word and give me the reminder of why I'm doing things. That things upset me. Well, did you do that because you were doing it for you? Or were you doing it to please God? So you have to think. Maybe I wanted the gratitude, and I wanted that for me. But then through a difficult season in my personal life, it was like, whatever you do, Erica, remember the words you say. You can't take them back. And so I'm mindful of what I say that I could never take back. And if I've ever said anything that I can't take back, it wasn't intentional, but it reminds me every time, man, be careful. So I pause. My silence kills people. But that's one of the things I have to do is be silent so that I can formulate the words to say, so that I don't say anything that I can't take back, that I can't explain. So Ms. Roxanne Petaway really sees me through. She was just with me through losing my nephew and through losing my friend LaTanya and just losing my sister-in-law. She's at the funeral. She's there with me. She's probably one of the first people that called me just to see how I'm doing. And so I would say her is the next person I would give props to.
That's really good.
And if I were to continue down that vein, I would say my great friend in Arizona is Nikki Corday. And I think I give her props for just watching her do marriage well.
Yeah.
Learning through good, bad arguments, coming out of arguments, being, that present wife and also working, but just showing me marriage well and doing it well, and how she loves being with her husband. And even in the arguments that I've seen them being blowout arguments, and the next morning come back and just be there. And so I think I would give her props for that part. That's awesome. Well, yeah.
I think the next lady that I would say I have to give props to, her name is Dawana McCarty. Dawana showed me professionalism, and she showed me how to be a woman of business. Her and her husband are great people. And I remember Dawana was my supervisor at one time. And she had left, I think she had left the company, and I was still there. But I was very unhappy. I was very unhappy with who was managing me at the time. I was very unhappy with the situation, just unhappy. And so I'm a Taurus, and when I get unhappy, there's just things that come out, So I was just doing things that just wasn't right. And I remember talking to her, and I was going in. I think we were taking a walk. She goes, "Come walk with me." And I was going in. So-and-so said this, and I don't like this, and da-da-da-da. And she listened. She said, "Okay." And she said, "But you ain't right." I said, "Me? Not right." She said, "Look how you coming to work. Look how you dressing. Look at your attitude. Ooh. I wouldn't promote you either." Ooh. I said, "Oh, dang." And I was hurt. But that's what people who really care about you, that's when they tell you the truth. And it mattered. And I took what she said, and I was like, I didn't do this right. Yeah. And I understood, right? But it took someone that I respected, someone that I looked up to, someone who was already in the position that I'm like, I want to be in a position like that someday. And she was like, nah, boo-boo. This is not for you. So I just love her. I respect her. I honor her because she's just always, again, these women that I reach out, they're just real and authentic. And they just allow you to be you. They tell you when you're right. They tell you when you're wrong. And they love on you. Yeah. They love on you. And she has loved on me throughout the years.
Okay. So I will then conclude my list with a threesome. Okay. I'll just give three little specific. One is no longer with us. Her name is LaTanya Gridiron. She was, and as everybody even says, a connector. Without LaTanya, I would not do industry because it was kind of like, it reminded me of my brother and his wife when they were younger. His wife used to hide behind her, and I used to hide behind LaTanya when we go to conferences or we go into meeting where there's a bunch of people that she know, and I'm like, I don't know those people. And I would decide, but she was like, "Come on, you going?" Or she would make me do stuff, or she would bring me along, or Erica, come help me. And then the next thing you know, I'm signed up and I'm doing stuff with her. So she was that type of person to bring along, right? To bring along and do. And then paired together with Sonia Waller. They together taught me to travel. Yeah. They taught me the fun and travel, the how we just go and have girlfriend times away and actually enjoy the world. And that was one of LaTanya's great things. And even now Sonia travels a lot, and I have kind of retreated back. But that was one of the things I was exposed to, not as younger, but as older, connecting with them. And then finally, I will give props to my sister. Everybody don't have a sister, and I'm gonna tell you, like you and your mom, me and my sister did not get along whatsoever growing up. But on my grandmother's, in her last days, she would say, "You only have each other, sister, and you guys better stick together and take care of one another." My mother had already left California. She moved back to Louisiana. So it was just me and my sister.
Mhm.
So we were adults, we're kids, and we had our own things. And we're polar opposites. And,
Mhm.
we have to figure out a way to work together. And one of the things in recent years that we've gotten to kind of work together with is sewing.
Yeah.
She's kind of gotten into sewing and doing a lot of things. And of course, I'm wearing one of her outfits that she made, of course, today. And I wear a lot of them, right, that she makes. And she doesn't feel always confident in them. But I'm like, I'm going to rock them, girl, because they look cute to me. And she's always self-conscious about it. But taking on a new skill and actually getting out there and then actually having me as a sister, of course, can be difficult because, I got opinions and I'm very vocal in some ways. And they call me a little big sister because I think I'm the big sister, even though she's the older.
Yes.
But anyway,
I love it.
But give her props. Yes.
So I'll close with two women that have just watched me grow up. They just were the consistent voice and watched us grow up. And that is Miss Barbara. Miss Barbara is one. When we first moved out here in this area, she's probably one of the first people that my parents, or I would say my mom, connected to. And so because my mom connected to her, obviously it's nature that we kind of just become family. And in our early years, we were together all the time. And her sons and us, me and my brother, we grew up together. And I remember watching Miss Barbara and thinking, because she climbed the corporate ladder, right? And she was professional, just very smart, very witty, and can cook you under the table.
Wow,
she would make chicken and waffles for us, jambalaya. Like she was the house. I don't even eat meat, but she's the house that we would go to for holidays to eat and stuff like that. But I watched her climb the corporate ladder and remember thinking at a young age, like, I'm gonna do that too, and be like her. So Miss Barbara is definitely one that I would love to give props to. The other person is Miss Tanya. It was the three of them. It was Miss Barbara, Miss Tanya, and my mom. And Miss Tanya has a daughter who's my best friend to this day. And we just stayed connected. Miss Tanya was a single mom. They both were single mom, but Miss Tanya was a single mom. And I got to see how she sacrificed and hustled and just did what she needed to do for her family. She always created environments for us to be young women and to encourage us and to be there for us. And so I absolutely love those ladies. They are who we just aspire to be. So I just want to give them their flowers now and just, wrap up with those two.
Yeah. And then I think we just have a one finale. That's the threesome we had in the community, me, you, and Chandra.
Yes.
That community of friendship was another women, how we get all three different generations.
Correct.
That we could lean into each other and everything. And so that would be our final, women we want to actually give props to for Women's Month in March. And so we have a couple call to actions for you. One, put a number in the chat and tell us, who are the women in your life that you would really want to shout out to right now. And how about you give them a call to action?
The other call of action is definitely go to our website, www.iambeyondlegacy.com. And, go on there, go to Show Me How we can get you connected with your community. Show us how, you talk about the women in your life, all of those things. So make sure you go visit our website, follow us on social media. Yes. We love you guys. Thank you for being the woman in my life, Erica.
Thank you for being in my life.
And happy Women's Month.
Happy Women's Month.
Bye.